U.S.-Iran deal official. Burnham to replace Starmer. Black rain over Moscow. And Lebanon fighting rages on. Greetings, humanity. Let's GROK the news, starting with the most important story in the world today. Dateline, Washington, D.C. The United States and Iran have officially signed that memorandum of understanding aimed at ending their recent conflict and reopening the Strait of Hormuz to oil traffic. President Donald Trump and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian put their names to the 14-point interim agreement during a dinner at the Palace of Versailles following the G7 summit. Under the deal, Iran agrees to dilute its enriched uranium stockpiles and allow limited international inspections at key sites. In return, the U.S. is lifting its naval blockade of Iranian ports and permitting immediate resumption of Iranian oil exports. The agreement establishes a 60-day window for further negotiations on a longer-term framework. White House officials stress that any sanctions relief remains strictly conditional on Iranian compliance. Vice President JD Vance, who was scheduled to join talks in Switzerland, stayed in Washington as those discussions were postponed. The delay follows fresh Israeli strikes in southern Lebanon that killed at least 18 people, according to Lebanese authorities. Israeli officials report 4 of their soldiers were killed in clashes with Hezbollah. Hezbollah, of course, being the Iranian proxy army stationed in Lebanon. Netanyahu has stated that Israel will not fully withdraw from southern Lebanon until security guarantees are in place. Vance publicly urged Israel not to criticize the U.S. deal and warned against actions that could undermine regional stability. Oil markets reacted positively overnight, with more than 12 million barrels transiting the strait. However, shipping traffic remains cautious amid lingering tensions. Analysts say the deal returns diplomacy to a familiar trade-off, nuclear restraints, in exchange for economic relief. Critics in both Washington and Tehran question whether either side can deliver lasting commitments. Some U.S. lawmakers from both parties call the agreement too broad and worry it fails to achieve core security objectives. Iranian hardliners fear marginalization. The memorandum does not require Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon as a precondition, though Iran has signaled that that issue must be addressed. Pentagon sources indicate the U.S. stands ready to reimpose military pressure if Iran violates terms. Trump described the signing as a step that prevents nuclear escalation and averts broader economic crisis. The agreement comes after weeks of intense fighting that caused significant casualties on all sides. Exact death tolls remain disputed, with experts warning the true figure may never be known due to limited access. European leaders expressed guarded support, while calling for robust verification mechanisms. Gulf states are monitoring oil flows closely. Domestically, the deal has drawn mixed reactions. Polls, cited by several outlets, show majority American voter approval, though skepticism remains high among some allies. The administration emphasizes that Iran receives no new concessions beyond what it already possessed before the conflict, with benefits tied directly to verifiable behavior change. This breakthrough marks a dramatic shift after months of confrontation. Implementation will test trust on all sides as diplomats prepare for the next phase of talks. Global energy markets, shipping lanes, and regional security all hang in the balance. I'm Robert Gardner, using GROK each weekday to truthfully summarize the news. And, of course, you also get my opinions. I try to make that pretty clear. We review a roundup of the most critical reports in the world right after this. God with Us, the story of Jesus, is a full blending of all the Gospels into one narrative, missing nothing from the Savior's life. Inspired by the majestic text of the King James Bible, God with Us is adapted to modern language, formatted for easy reading. It's a faithful paraphrase divided into brief daily Bible studies, a book fully researched to present the story of Jesus from his birth to his ascension. Find God with Us by Robert Gardner, yes, that's me, at Amazon.com or wherever books are sold. Now we grok the news with headlines from around the world. Dateline London. Labour heavyweight Andy Burnham has won a decisive by-election victory in Makerfield, positioning him as a serious challenger to Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The Manchester mayor secured the parliamentary seat in a result widely seen as a rebuke to Starmer's leadership and a signal of internal party discontent. Burnham, often called the King of the North, delivered a victory speech emphasizing a fresh direction for Labour ahead of future national contests. The win intensifies speculation about a leadership contest. This observer believes that a rose by any other name is still a rose, to put it nicely. Dateline, Chicago, Illinois. Former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama officially opened the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago with a star-studded ceremony attended by the usual Hollywood elites and political figures. Obama told the crowd there will be no kings in America, as he... Like, who's asking? Obama told the crowd there will be no kings in America, as he urged young leaders to defend democracy. Reports surfaced that unpaid subcontractors are claiming that millions upon millions of dollars are still owed for construction work. 3 former presidents joined the dedication events. This observer believes that this structure is among the ugliest ever built in the history of humanity. No kidding. Brutalist architecture. This thing looks like it was designed by Soviets during the worst period of occupation of Eastern Europe. I mean, seriously, this is an ugly building. Well, that's this observer's opinion. Dateline Moscow. Residents reported black rain falling after a major Ukrainian drone attack struck a key Moscow area oil refinery in one of the largest such strikes of the war. Ukrainian officials described the operation as justified. The incident caused visible environmental fallout and renewed questions about Russia's air defenses and potential shifts in Moscow's military tactics. Dateline Mexico City. Co-host Mexico became the first team to reach the knockout stage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup after defeating South Korea. The result sparked massive celebrations across the country. Other early matches saw Canada rout Qatar 6-0 for their first-ever World Cup win, while England advanced with strong performances as well. Global attention remains fixed on this tournament. Dateline New York. Tens of thousands of fans lined Manhattan streets for the New York Knicks championship parade. Yes, they're still celebrating the NBA title victory. The celebration featured players, celebrities, and emotional crowds, marking the city's first title in years. Several couples even got engaged during the festivities as New Yorkers rejoiced in this long-awaited win. Dateline Harare, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwean lawmakers passed a controversial bill that could extend President Emerson Mnangagwa's time in power, triggering widespread domestic and international backlash. Critics say that this move undermines democracy, and the development comes amid ongoing economic challenges and questions about the country's political future. Dateline Havana, Cuba. The Communist Party of the island nation has approved more than 175 major economic reforms in the broadest opening of the economy since 1959. Measures aim to ease U.S. sanctions pressure and to stimulate growth through greater private enterprise. Observers describe the changes as unprecedented for Cuba. Dateline, Washington, D.C. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of a criminal defendant in a forced medication case and undercut certain restrictions on gun ownership for occasional drug users. Both decisions are expected to have significant implications for criminal justice and Second Amendment law. Dateline, New Delhi. India's government upheld a ban on Telegram after concerns over its role in medical entrance exam fraud. That's been a big story this week. The move has sparked protests and debate over online platforms, digital security, and government oversight of social media and messaging apps. Dateline, Berlin. Germany is preparing its military for a possible mine-clearing mission in the Strait of Hormuz, while the U.S. probes German pharmaceutical pricing practices. These developments highlight ongoing transatlantic tensions over defense burdens and trade. Dateline, Jakarta. Indonesia's central bank has raised interest rates again to stabilize the rupiah amid global economic uncertainty following the Iran deal. The student protests continue over policymaking, while the government considers adjustments to its free meal program. Dateline, Tokyo. Around 300 children and teachers were evacuated after a fire broke out at a Japanese primary school. 10 people were injured in the incident. Japanese authorities are investigating the cause as the country deals with multiple safety challenges. Dateline, Warsaw, Poland. Polish authorities arrested a suspect in the murder of Russian dissident artist Semyon Skripetsky. Prime Minister Donald Tusk described the killing as possible state terrorism. The case has highlighted concerns about Russian activities targeting critics abroad. Dateline, Washington, D.C. 5 people, including an alleged mastermind described as an Obama-era dreamer, were arrested in a foil. That means he was an illegal alien who was brought over as a child. Well, 5 people were arrested, including this guy, in a foiled plot targeting the UFC event at the White House, celebrating Trump's 80th birthday, the nation's 250th. Officials say that this plan involved drone bombs to move the crowd towards snipers aimed at high-profile figures. Thankfully, the FBI foiled that plot. Dateline, the Gulf Coast of the United States. Tropical Storm Arthur brought life-threatening flooding to Mississippi and Louisiana, killing at least 1 person. A state of emergency was declared as rescue operations continued. Forecasters warn of more severe weather risks in the region. Dateline Beijing. China trimmed its U.S. Treasury holdings to an 18-year low amid geopolitical uncertainty. Beijing continues expanding influence in Africa through language programs and infrastructure plans, while navigating tensions with Europe and the United States. This dateline, various cities across the United States mourning as Davy Chase, known for voicing Lilo in Disney's Lilo and Stitch, and also appearing in The Ring. Well, the young lady died at the age of 35 from meningitis and sepsis. Separately, music producer Tay Keith was found dead. Both losses prompted tributes from the entertainment industry. And this dateline from London. The Church of England faces renewed pressure from those who are always renewing pressure over slavery reparations. While its archbishop apologized for the church's historical role in forced adoptions affecting 185,000 children way back in the old days, both issues highlight ongoing debates about institutional accountability. This observer will be blunt with you. I do not believe that the present generation is responsible for the sins of previous generations. You're just creating more sin in the present. But I thank you for listening. Please join me Monday to once again GROK the News. I'm Robert Gardner. Godspeed and God bless.